Hi, I'm Jim Sauerwein, co-developer of the Powerchute. I want to share with you why the Powerchute is so effective. And I guess first of all, I want to tell you I've given it to a handful of tour players, multiple instructors, and I have yet to find someone who didn't love it. Obviously, the recreational golfer is going to love it, and you'll see why. You may have seen a few products similar on the market. You know, the ones that come to mind are the blades that attach to the club. Well, quite honestly, those feel like like you're swinging a weighted donut with very little resistance, whereas the chute, it weighs a few ounces and it creates resistance. And so the resistance here is really the key. When you're making some swings and you can create resistance, you can do a lot of things. You can find your deficiencies, whatever that may be. I guess first of all, I want to tell you physically and technically how and why it works. It was explained to me by a doctor who has a handful of different degrees, and he said, look, the resistance is working like a plyometric exercise. And a plyometric exercise, as he explained, is what's used for educating fast twitch muscles. Well, I'm not here to talk about club head speed, but you'll understand why it does create club head speed. But more importantly is it actually helps the golf swing, and it helps an efficient golf swing. And let me give you an example of how this works. So when you find, let's say, let's use this guy. He's a thrower and he can't finish his swing. You have that individual make some swings where you're going to say, look, I want you to swing it all the way to the finish. So you say, swing it to the finish. And this is important. Don't just take it to the finish. Don't do this. That isn't going to be as nearly as effective as swinging it to the finish. In the process of swinging it to the finish, they're going to start to use all the muscles required to get them to the finish. They're all going to be educated. What happens is it creates a little stretch. Well, once it's stretched, all the muscles, whether you feel it in your abs or your obliques or your glutes or wherever it might be, once you've stretched them, it allows you to tap back into them. Certainly when you've made 7 or 8 swings with it and then you take it off and make a swing, the club is going to go zinging through. Well, it's because those are now firing unlike they have in the past. Even for a good player, it kind of wakes them up. So understanding that, that's the beauty of it, because now you cannot just get someone to finish their swing, or if you're working with them on sequencing and you say to them, look, I want you to feel, and look, we all understand the most difficult thing to teach is good sequencing and lag. I mean, we can explain it until we're blue, and maybe they can do it without a golf ball, but as soon as the ball's there, they go back to, wailing and throwing the club at the ball, because they've really never felt what's supposed to take place. So whatever it is that you want to tell your student, how you want the sequence, whether it's, for example, I might tell someone, from the top of the swing, I want you to feel a little bit of bump with your lower, and then I want you to feel maybe you're going to turn your abs and feel your arms and your chest go to the finish. Whatever it might be, I'm not going to tell you how to teach. We all have our own way to communicate, but whatever it is, they're going to feel it, and if they feel it, they're going to be able to then tap back into those muscles. And I have seen it many times work very quickly. Here's another one. When I give this to a tour player, any good player, I'll give it to them and I'll say, look, here, I want you to make a handful of swings, but I don't want you to just swing aimlessly. I want you to swing with a purpose. I want you to give me two or three swings, with flighting each ball. And I want you to hit a low cut, a high cut, 2 or 3 with each, low draw, high draw, and maybe a couple up the gut. So for example, let's just make some little swings here and say, if I'm going to have them start out by making a low cut, they're going to go feeling this, and make a few like that, and then they're going to go high cut, and then maybe to a low draw, and then do a high draw. I'm not going to go through them all. But I can tell you, wherever you're deficient, or wherever the player is deficient, they feel it, because for whatever reason, whether they're tight, whether they're whatever, it exposes weakness, it exposes balance. That's the cool thing about it, is that so wherever you're deficient, it exposes it. So let's now take that to you're working with a student. I mean, forget your swing for a minute, because you are going to love it for helping your own swing. And you're gonna, if you do what I just suggested and you swing it regularly like that, you'll be able to start flighting and curving your ball unlike you ever have. I'm pretty confident of that. I've seen it. So let's just take now. You're working with the guy that's over the top, and maybe you stick a noodle here, and you say, okay, look, I want you to miss the noodle on the way down, and you got him exaggerating in here, and now you get him trying to swing. You're trying to get a hit, a big push hook. Okay, so you've made him exaggerate the path, and as they're now trying to get the chute to the finish, now their muscles are working overtime again, back to that educating the stretch, and it allows them to tap back into it. They start to feel it that much quicker. Look, I can tell you there's a lot of creative ways to do this. I'm sure there's many you guys are going to come up with that I've not even thought of, but I can assure you, if you give this a shot, you're going to love it. There's some really neat things about it that are going to impress you. I wish you the best.